it's easy to play and you win instantly. For only $2, you can win up to $3,000 on Money Tree Instant Cash game. Here's how to play and win. Find at least 4 customers in the Money Tree and win with the corresponding prize shown in the prize legends below. You win! It's fast, it's easy, and you win instantly.
Vaval Central is on now. Vaval Central is sponsored by the Carnival Planning and Management Committee, Carnival Music Management Committee, Stamina Energy Drink, Blue Waters. Good morning, Dexter. Hector morning. Tropical Shipping, The Computer Store, UTV.
an indication. The carnival is over.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
That music that sounded so terrific, I would like to know the sweet, sweet saxophone, the pan and the trombone and so. What is wrong? Like the tourists and all disappear. Not a clown nor a buck can be seen anywhere. Can't hear the sound of a drum or a bass, a guitar. An indication. We got a party going on. The sun is descending, the moon is approaching, and the crowd is gone. It seems like nobody is interested to carry on. Well, this time is like a wooden shack after a storm. Not a band nor a mass is wrong to perform. All I can see is some broken old bottles so far. An indication. The carnival is over.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
That music that sounded so terrific, I would like to know the sweet, sweet saxophone, the pan and the trombone and so. What is wrong? Like the tourists and all disappear. Not a clown nor a buck can be seen anywhere. Can't hear the sound of a drum or a bass, a guitar. An indication. We got a party going on.
Kitchen on Vaval Central, Teddy.
Yes, the reality, Iwa. The carnival, the Vaval is over. After all the hype, all the excitement, all the memories like crazy, Iwa. I was making the point on the broadcast yesterday, as a seasoned carnivalist, as we say, it is always mixed emotions on the Carnival Tuesday. Remember from childhood, the excitement, yes, the euphoria as you approach the climax, the final approaching of bands on the stage, but that mixed with a feeling that after what normally an average 2 months of non-stop activity and joy and pleasure, that you knowing that for the next, you have to wait another 365 days for that carnival to return. Barry Hype is here, as we said, for those just joining us. We are live on Radio Caribbean International 101.1. We also live on UTV 124 on cable. They have their Facebook page also, UTV 124 on Facebook, as is the case of Radio Caribbean, the official page of Radio Caribbean International, and we also being streamed on Carnival St. Lucia, the FB and IG pages all over. No excuse not to get the feed. Share it to your friends as we wind down. We will be having over the next few days perspectives from different persons, officials certainly from the Carnival Agency, those in organizing, some of the stakeholders, participants, artists, the bands, a flood of them to get their perspective. Important indeed as we wrap up and review this Vaval 2023. One of the personalities, as you mentioned, Barry Hype, well placed, an international ambassador for St. Lucia and indeed the wider Caribbean. He's St. Lucian born and has already played a key role in promoting and ensuring that St. Lucia gets its fair amount of attention as the music develops throughout the carnival fraternity and the carnival market. Barry Hype, welcome again.
Morning,
become accustomed now. A Vaval Central ritual, this interview, conclusive interview with Barry Hype. We've always chosen you because you're well placed, seeing the best of worlds and how all the carnivals have developed. Your assessment of St. Lucia Carnival, having been here again for the umpteenth time, and as a son of the soil who knows the territory, from where it has come to now, tell us how you're seeing it, what you have seen, the development is seen, if any, and what areas you figure we need to work on, not only for international visitors. We determine not to have that the only focus, but the carnival as a product.
Now, I want to touch the international part first. Excuse me. Good morning, everybody listening, watching. First things first, the internationals come here to get what we do. They don't want obviously certain standards are a good thing. But they want it to be uniquely St. Lucian. They don't want it to be what any other island is doing. They want what we do. It's probably 99% don't even understand half of what the lyrical content is in the Denry segment because it's patois, but they love the energy and they love the vibe of it. So whatever we're doing, please, let's continue to do that. Of course, there's always room for improvement and everybody can micromanage their own particular situation. I love the stage. The stage was amazing. Had a good time. The sun was hot. Certainly the first day. That sun was ridiculously hot. Anyway, we could speed that up maybe a little bit. But obviously, every band is trying to give their best presentation. But yeah, everybody from what I could see had a good time. They enjoyed it thoroughly. The French soca lovers were here, the Dutch soca lovers, the Swiss were here. I have two friends on
this is the Dutch soca lovers, the first such major presence in our carnival.
Yeah, this is the first time. And the Dutch, these particular traveling carnival crews are not just based here in the Caribbean, but they're also based in Europe. So I know that some of the Dutch came from St. Martin, but there are some who flew in from Europe also to be here. Likewise with the French soca lovers. Big up to my brother Dankers, DJ Dankers and DJ Payo. Dankers is from Guadeloupe, Payo is from Martinique, and they also fly the flag for our music in their respective territories as well, as do all the other DJs who come from your New Yorks, your Torontos, etc., etc.
Right. As we remind persons that, of course, the big anticipation now for the results for some of the major prizes and also the others, the Band of the Year, that, and along with the road march, much coveted, will be announced at 11 o'clock in the official CPMC press briefing. That is at 11 o'clock on the CPMC press briefing led by the chairperson Tamara Gibson. That scheduled for 11 has become a staple, a tradition that has been kept with the major press conference to announce the results. The judges having deliberated and the auditors having done their work over the 2-day period, and that will be officially announced at the CPMC press briefing at 11 o'clock. So the wait person's buzzing like crazy asking about the results, waiting for that period. Speaking of Barry Hype, as he said, well placed. He works on media throughout the United States, so it's good to get a perspective. We will be speaking to a number of our major players in Carnival, our artists, and other stakeholders. Once we get past the results this morning, always figure to allow the results and then to settle. We'll be doing a lot of that in the next few days, and also speaking with persons responsible for promoting our carnival overseas. Ahead of that though, speaking of always, I think as a country we always need to maintain the context to understand where we stand in the evolution of carnivals throughout. And one example, what we've always done on Vaval Central, our neighbors St. Vincent were leagues ahead of us. That's the interesting fact. For years and years, most of us growing up, St. Vincent was a place to be. We couldn't compare in any way to St. Vincent. That gap, no doubt, has been narrowed now. Our carnival in some areas is much bigger than St. Vincent. Barry, you would know that. And so before we delve into that, let's take a listen for our own sake to understand where musically we are at. You have St. Vincent's Groovy Soca Monarch, Iwa?
The name?
JR is
JR Love of Carnival.
The winner, that's the winning song in the Groovy Soca Monarch. Let's take a listen in St. Vincent.
Super gay. Would you believe me? If I tell you that I the Scarlet Space my home, welcome to my home, sweet carnival. Yeah, and there's a feeling in my bones, down in my soul. So much this place up, and if you're near I'm far, you could hear the sound of my voice. This is a calling. I'm calling to match this place up and carry on. Meet me by the big drum with someone in the air. Go out and celebrate. It's for the love of carnival. Tell them it's passing tongue. Trouble when we touch down carnival. Meet me by the Victoria Park. We don't get on ball in there. Oh, carnival, we don't get on back, get on back, get on back, get on back. All in the name of carnival. All in the name of culture. With the hammer and the rock and the fuck with the banana. All in the name of festival. All in the name of soca. Please understand me. If I tell you this place does make me feel alive. In the city story called of carnival. Yeah. And you could see it on my face. The love I have for this. So I go match this place up. And if you're near a fire, you could hear the sound of my voice. This is a calling. I'm calling to match this place up and carry on. Speak me by the big drum with someone in the air. Go out and celebrate. It's for the love of carnival. Tell them it's passing tongue. Trouble when we touch down carnival. We need it. Meet me by the Victoria Park. We don't get on ball in there. Oh, carnival, we don't get on back, get on back, get on back, get on back. All in the name of carnival. All in the name of culture. With the hand and the rock and the flock with a banana. All in the name of festival. All in the name of soca. Sweet carnival. Sweet carnival. We need it. Trust me, we need it.
JR on Vaval Central, Love of Carnival. Teddy?
We said the winner of St. Vincent's Groovy Soca Monarch competition. Always keen to know. Nice track, Iwa. You loving it?
Yeah,
you liking
man, I
it,
love
Barry?
the vocals.
Very bright vocals. Very excellent production too.
Right. And so always, as you say, we want, as the competitions go forward for what has happened during our Vaval Central period, we like to run our winning track, Iwa.
Oh, King Arthur, feeling Irie on Vaval Central.
Vaval Central.
vibes only. I'm waiting so long so I can be free. So when you see me jamming inside the party, being happy now is my priority. Cause when this soca hit me soul, the good vibes start to unfold. Nothing taking this feeling from me. Tell them again, life's sweet, I ain't rich, but I'm blessed. So I'm feeling irate, yes I'm feeling irate. Life's sweet, I ain't rich, but I'm blessed. So I just want party, yeah, I just want party. Happy is a happy, oh yeah. No time for stress now. Happy is a happy, oh yes. I'm just living my best now. Happy is a happy, oh yeah. The girls from me I know. Happy is a happy, oh yes. Yeah.
King Arthur and Vaval Central, feeling irate, Teddy.
As you've said, constantly on this Vaval Central program, one of the best performers anywhere of groovy soca music. He really completing his performance and really has command. The obvious question, as we say, to reminder to persons that the official announcement of results for the major competitions, notably Band of the Year and Road March, will be done at 11 o'clock this morning. The exportability, the exporting of our music is a big question now. Persons were very pleased with the quality of music this year, really in a big way of a top standard. The question, Barry, is that we've had, it remains sporadic and only occasional, our major breakthroughs on the international soca circuit. The observation is that from way back, we made the point that Miami Carnival appears to be the clearinghouse almost. That's where the hits are first declared, and then that is the entry into the obvious Mecca, Trinidad and Tobago, by which all soca stations, markets throughout the world get their cue that you are hit, and so the tour circuit starts. We've had examples of Ricky T for sure. The big breakthrough was the Pressure Boom. Teddy St. John has certainly been there on the market, and in a different way via New York and the United States into Trinidad. Moto have been there. There have been few other examples. Tell us your proposed route now that St. Lucia heard the clamor, heard the cry, the pride on St. Lucians. How do we get that music to ensure they become big hits on the international soca circuit?
Well, let's start with doing a visual. We're in that space now. Social media. If you don't have presence there, I don't want to say you're wasting your time, but it's a very, very important part. The international DJs who were here are now going to tell the rest of us, yo, here is a folder of records that you need to have from St. Lucia Carnival. Because our music is still festive, which is important. Because as Iowa can tell you, he gets probably, during St. Lucia Carnival, at least 20 to 30 emails a day, if not more, of records. So what separates your record from the next email that he has? Your social media game has to be up. The next major carnivals are going to be Toronto for Caravana, although they've renamed it, I'll just always remember it as Caravana. The next major is going to be London for Notting Hill. After that is Labor Day. After that is Miami. And now on the calendar, Uber Soca Cruise. So you're going to need to position yourself as an artist to be in the spaces. England is an expensive investment. That might not be the one for you to fly out there unless your record is doing something. England is the key to Europe. So if your record explodes, then Europe, it's a good look for you. But the Mecca is obviously Trinidad. So you want to make sure that you're positioned. New York is good. Miami and for sure Uber are two definites to make sure you're there to work your record. Miami Carnival, almost every DJ does a mixtape. So make sure you contact the DJs who you think are worthwhile doing your plates, your drops, your skits, whatever it is, to ensure that you have placement there. But most importantly, the people need to see you. The people need to experience you, just like when we came to St. Lucia, we being the international DJs, we experienced you here. The people need to experience you up there. That's very important. Your record can play and your record can do well, but without us physically seeing you, because as I was saying to Iowa earlier, in soca, the first thing we do is we hear the song, we like the song. Then we happen to know who the artist is by name, and then the third part of the equation is in the actual visual. because America didn't know what Ricky T looked like until Miami Carnival 2007.
With Pressure Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a major breakthrough.
Yes.
And that had him then parachuted into Trinidad Carnival.
Correct. And it was an excellent move for Penn and Ace to put Bungie, Faye, and Marshall, which that hadn't happened, Iowa. Go back into your rhythm juggling. If you looking for me, baby, you can find me by the bar. That was the last rhythm that Bungie and Marshall both were on. There hadn't been a rhythm since. So that alone took the industry by storm. Like, whoa, what's this? But Ricky T still had the biggest song on the rhythm. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. I remember going seeing Ricky T, meeting him in Trinidad and Tobago, and he was on Marshall's set for that year. And
correct.
Ricky had lost weight about 10 pounds. But the schedule was, I almost felt sorry for him because the schedule is not easy in Trinidad. Several fets per night and you know, on the go interviews during the day. Really, but he really came on in a big way. And an important point that he wasn't the one who won the title that year. He didn't win the Soca Monarch title. He did win the road.
He won road, but not Soca Monarch. Right. Soca Monarch was blah blah blah.
Kakao.
Yeah.
That year.
Iowa, you penned that one too?
No, I did Ricky T.
Okay.
Yeah. As we see, and you continue speaking of Barry Height, St. Lucian, impresario, I like that too. Impresario, entertainment guru, as it were, and also a DJ and well versed in media throughout the United States and well placed as the music and the industry develops. Iowa, we want to see, give credit, as we said earlier on, to the organizers of what, by all acclaim, it was a very good carnival, very enjoyable carnival. We mentioned earlier the CPMC under Tamara T.G. Gibson and company, all the other CMMC under Claude Popey Paul, and all the other services. Special mention must be made of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. It was so impressive, the presence yesterday. And by all reports up until now, incident free. We must applaud them. They came in here and made their case and laid out their plans for Carnival, and the security is paramount within a festival. They really did well, and you felt so comforted with your presence at every turn.
I definitely want to give them their kudos, because I was told the road would finish at 6, and they gave us specifically our truck, which was truck 3 and Just for Fun, they gave us 55 more minutes to play when they could have stopped at 6. So I really appreciate it.
They had in fact adjusted the time to 7, but you were able to go all the way back to Mega J.
We made it all the way back.
Yeah, and I think they did allow quite a few of the bands to go back to Mega J, which is the big push and nice tagline for the Carnival, Mega J to Mega J. In going through the police, mentioning that, Iowa, before we continue with Barry Hype, St. Lucian, based in Florida, we would take in, there's a nice track, Iowa, by T Blacks and HP.
One more song on Vaval Central.
Yo, minor production, alongside Hollywood. Boom, T Blacks, what is it? T Blacks in there. Na 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 na. Yo, officer, Mr. Officer, give me one more chance to wind up on this girl. Not leaving this dance till I call she over, get she number, book she all night long till I'm all in. Everybody's calling. Yo, tell the police, wine on that till the morning come. Tell police we do I go. The party mad and we head that gun. Tell police we do I go. The bad and close bar we drinking rum. Tell police we do I go. Yo, Mr. DJ, show police how the things stay. One more song. Why? The party I saw don't kill the vibes. One more song. The people happy, everything so nice. One more song. Hey, girl them whining to the tune whole night. Tell police come join the fan, cause we not going home yet. My body aching, but I ain't going home till I get that wine. T-Blacks need that wine, girl. My money's spending, so I ain't living until I'm satisfied. Right now, we are the hot. Yo, tell the police, wine on that till the morning come. Tell police we do I go. The party mad and we head that gun. Tell police we do I go. The bad and close bar we drinking rum. Tell police we do I go.
Vaval Central.
Yo, minor production, alongside Hollywood. Boom, T Blacks, what is it? T Blacks in there. Na 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 na. Yo, officer, Mr. Officer, party mad and we head that gun. Tell police we don't have go. The bad and close bar we drinking rum. Tell police we don't have go. Mr. DJ, show police how the things stay. One more song. Why? The party and so don't kill the vibes. One more song. The people happy, everything so nice. One more song. Hey, girl them whining to the tune whole night. Tell police come join the fair, cause we not going home yet. My body aching, but I ain't going home till I get that wine. Need that wine, girl. My money spending, so I ain't living until I'm satisfied. Right now, we are the hot. Yo, tell the police, boom, wine on that till the morning come. Tell police we don't have go. The party mad and we head that gun. Tell police we don't have go. The bad and close bar we drinking rum. Tell police we don't have go. Mr. DJ, show police how the things stay. One more song. Why? The party I saw don't kill the vibes. One more song. The people happy, everything so nice. One more song. Hey, girl them whining to the tune whole night. Tell police come join the fair, cause we not going home yet. We not going home yet. We not going home yet. So officer, we not going home yet.
T-Blacks, Hollywood HB. One more song. Teddy?
A reminder to all our listeners, all our followers, that we would be going through the analysis of the different areas of the carnival, the mass, the parade of bands, the overall calypso, the music competitions, calypso and soca, as we wrap up on the next 2 days on Vaval Central, tomorrow and Friday, along with some performances by various artists. The big climax, of course, will be on Friday on the program. The debate between the intergenerational debate, I call it, Barry Hype, about the approach to music. I've seen the complaints throughout social media from the more mature ones saying that they are averse to the chopping of songs, that the DJ is playing 20 seconds a slice of a song. I was talking about it this morning, whereas the younger generation are averse to anyone playing 4 verses of a song. You would have them bored and leave the fete within an hour. It's the two extremes. In fact, one friend and I were having a discussion over a fact I know sensitive for you because all the artists are your friends. They were saying that they felt a difference of energy at Column Red between Patrice, who absolutely flattened the place coming through, and Kes, who in his style did almost 3-4 verses of each of his songs, Sweet Mango and the rest, right? Whereas Patrice virtually stuck to about 20 hook lines, just raced through and just flattened hook line to hook line. So did at most verse and chorus of a song, got the reaction, got the forward, next one, and balance that for us, reconcile for us the intergenerational, where some people prefer to savor a song at least 2-3 verses and feel it, whereas the younger generation and the popular DJs just like to flash it, just tune after tune, no long intro, no long build up, just go from hook line to hook line.
So I'm glad I was here, because I was a DJ who's been doing this since vinyl, since I was 14 years old, sneaking out. Morning, mommy. Let me give the example of Just for Fun. No disrespect to any other band, that's just the band which I'm on the road with. So we have a VVIP truck in the front, which obviously caters more to the crowd, as you've referred to as the older generation. So the DJs will take their time. The DJs will play the music. The DJs will give a second verse. The DJs will let the music, as the term is called, breathe. Whereas if you're of the younger space, we had other trucks for your musical taste. One was very, very Lucian, and one was Lucian mixed with everything else. So you had 3 different spaces to go to enjoy almost 3 different styles of music. What you're now going to do is choose your money wisely, meaning if you're not a fan of music being chopped up quickly, then this fete is not for you, because this fete books these DJs who are playing to this diaspora, who are a fan of music not being played for 3 minutes. In some instances, I remember this conversation very well with Private Ryan. He was having a convo with Marshall and saying that the most important part of this song was anytime I hear soca music, we getting on bad, and that was it. And Marshall's like, but what the H is going on here? You know how much I worked on the rest of this and we produced this? We're like, yeah, but the DJs only need to hear. After here, we're already preparing the next record to mix. Whereas where all them woman has come from, that we're prepared to play a lot more of that record versus the Marshall part. We can literally, most DJs will chop it there and move. I do like the rest of the part until he gets back to the hook. So your money will determine, and the promoters will feel your money, because I'm not into this. I want to hear an Iowa. I want to hear to draw references of other DJs from that era who will take their time and allow the music to play. But in some instances, that party may book a younger DJ, like a Hollywood HP, but he will adjust to that crowd to know that don't rush the juggling. Let the music breathe, because that crowd likes that.
Yep. I guess there's part of the problem is that a number of the events, whether DG playing at one of the national events or one of the fets later on in the season, that you don't have such a rich menu of events for the more pure crowd. So they're sometimes forced to mingle in one of the more happening, trending fets. And
I can agree to disagree. I can definitely say breakfast party. Your first 3 to 4 DJs will let the music breathe, let the music do its thing. As you're getting down more towards the quote-unquote prime time, then you may get the DJs playing a little bit quicker to keep the energy up.
Breakfast Fest would be an exception. It's a nice, mature people feel very comfortable. And that's why it's so popular. In fact, popular with them. We're speaking of Barry Hype, the first of our interviews. Many interviews we'll be doing with all the major players in Carnival, as well as our own review of the events. And as we see, where do we go from here with our Carnival? That's a big question. How do we position it? How do we tweak it? What do we need to do? There are lots of areas to deal with. The community carnivals, the route yesterday, as you said, enjoyable. I like the energy, the exhilaration, the joy you felt with the revelers as they came through the first and second day. The first day on stage, they were much better than past years on stage. But we know the route, and because of the expanding convoy of vehicles, which are necessary now. Before you had one
support vehicles,
right? You had one little drinks vehicle was enough, but now with all sorts of amenities being provided, it becomes a challenge on the route. And the police making the decision in their own wisdom not to allow the bands to go deep into the city. That would, of course, restrict the little circuit that they were on, and we saw sometimes the backlog. We go in Iowa to your break, your 8:30 break, and then we're coming back with a lot more Barry Hype as we go on with our review. As we said, tomorrow and Friday, all the major players will be in for the various interviews, along with the big celebration on Friday to wind down this Vaval Central season.
Thank you very much, Teddy. Thank you very much, Barry. Vaval Central and RCI is sponsored by the Carnival Planning Management Committee, the Carnival Music Management Committee, Stamina Energy Drink, Blue Waters, Dexter Hector, Good Morning, Tropical Shipping, the Computer Store, UTV Channel 124, Island Sounds, Lighting and Power Rentals, and Ram J's Auto Parts.
Dominica's very trendy.
Trees again. I go drink blue waters and mind my business. I go drink blue waters and mind my business. Who me? I only drink one brand. Blue waters inside the house and the pan. When I need to hydrate, I drink blue waters. I'm feeling great. When you see we out on the road and we going hard, take a sip of blue waters. That's the number one brand. Drink blue waters and mind my business. Is the truth. When the hot sun come, I drink blue waters to cool me down. When you see we out on the road and we going hard, take a sip
rise to the occasion.
Are you a small business owner looking for dependable IT support? Then look no further. TCS has the solutions to all your IT needs. Our experienced and qualified team of IT professionals has all your IT solutions. We provide wired and wireless networking, point of sale solutions, network security, data backup and recovery solutions, desktops and laptops, computer hardware and software, computer accessories, inks, toners, and much more. Don't let IT solutions cripple your operations or your ability to serve your clients. Call us today at 450-4638 or visit us on the ground floor of the American Drywall Building at Bidbutai. The Computer Store, meeting your demands in the IT world.
Tropical shipping is fast and reliable. Always on time, safe and affordable. Redness have there to connect you. Tropical worldwide, you must get you. Shop online and you get it on time. Hassle free to meet your deadline. Consolidate any size, any load with tropical shipping. So we ship everything. I can't wait to ship with tropical. I can't wait. No packets to big, no small. I cannot wait to ship with tropical. No packets too big, too small. Just ship with tropical.
Tropical Shipping St. Lucia Limited, located on Manuel Street. Telephone number 4570900. Visit www.tropical.com. And we're back, Vaval Central on the Caribbean Sound. We feature a lot of music on RCI. We have the music from the Fire Hooper, Vinci.
Yo. This one is gonna cause more pain. I am the ruler of the land, and this is why the people listen my commands. Anytime I touch the stage, just take a look at how the people them behave. Cause when I reach it's madness. Run for cover, people, madness. Run for cover, people, madness. Get on real bad people, madness. Run. Like a marathon. Hey. From the time they call me name, they mad again. It's like a program they bring, they mad again. I tell you no venue safe, they mad again. No arguments, no debate, they mad again. Shaking defense, breaking the bench, the rail build defense. I say they shaking defense, they breaking the bench. In every event, they don't have no sense, only for madness. Run for cover, people, madness. Get on real bad people, madness. Push on one another, people, madness. Madness. Run for cover, people, madness. Get on real bad people, madness. Push on one another, people, mad. Everybody know. Run.
Fireman Hooper on Vaval Central, madness. Ready?
Fireman Hooper winning the Power Soca Monarch in St. Vincent for the umpteenth time.
Okay.
Fireman, the Power Soca for the umpteenth time. And St. Vincent is a different approach. St. Vincent Soca Monarch starts at 11:30, you know.
Yes.
They start at 11:30.
Yes.
They go home about 7 o'clock in the morning.
Correct.
It starts at 11:30. I mean, that has always freaked me out. And people come in then, so average person is at midnight and jamming. Nobody lives until 7.
At all.
It couldn't happen in many other countries. It's
No.
just a different approach to the Soca Monarch, and it's crazy participation, and the communities are all involved to get there. And that's why the community carnivals are so strong. It really swells the numbers when you have people from each community. So if you have a Canaries person, let's see, Dove is from Canaries here, an ancillary artist from the south, they're then represented. The more you have it decentralized, the more you encourage persons to mobilize and come in big numbers.
Facts.
And so St. Vincent a very strong in the community carnival that all build up, each of them massive, and so by the time they culminate in the national competitions, Groovy and Power, it's really massive. Trending, we going on. Barry Hype mentioning, we were very keen to ask you early on, the pressure is on that the music this year to break through. Solutions want a major, more of a presence on the international circuit, on the soca circuit, that our music be played throughout the world. We mentioned the exceptions, the Ricky Titi, the Sin Moto and so on, and so, and a few exceptions, then we segment with Badin Bam Bam and so on, so had quite a good run. Freezy, of course, tore down every...
It's still the biggest Denry segment song. Split in the middle. It's still the biggest Denry segment song. By far. Because most people may not know this. There's a major radio station in New York called Hot 97. They played that song as if Jay-Z had just dropped it 1 month before Labor Day, and every single mix show shift played that song, pulled it up, played it again. It's literally as if they spent all of their marketing money on it, and I know none was spent. It was just, that was when the ground told you this is a big record.
Yeah. I remember feeling it in a couple of carnivals. Grenada, yes, I saw it. Trinidad, I touched it, but Barbados Carnival, I really felt almost emotional as a solution, the pride that at every turn in a carnival is being played.
I was asked this by one artist. His name is Mikey from Barbados, good friend of mine, part of Soca Cartel, himself from Blood. And he came on the truck. I was on Beige International, and he asked, how do you guys think I'm going to do today? I said there's two answers to that question. I said there's the realistic answer that the judges are going to give you, and I said there is what the spins in my head are going to determine. He said, I want to hear what the spins is. I said, spins were third. Whoa, everybody put up their hands. I said, the judges are going to give you second. We all know Lil Rick is going to win that year, but you're going to get second. I said, but the realistic answer is split in the middle is going to be neck and neck with Rick. I knew that they were not going to give Freezy.
No, some of the rules even prohibit of non-national Barbados or in St. Lucia to win the road match, but it was really all about talking about that's a big breakthrough and really at every carnival over and over for years. The booking scheme. How the different islands doing their music and who's trending now most you find?
Right now, heavy trending is Dominica. The Bouillon sound has been trending for the last couple of years, pre-pandemic. Family is Bouillon. If you listen to the bass line and the drums, that is Bouillon. And then the obvious records right now, which are huge. So they're doing very, very well right now, Dominica. And to touch specifically on what you just said of community carnivals, community carnivals are huge in Dominica, St. Vincent, and Grenada. Huge community carnivals.
Very big, yeah. Well, your Guave, your St. Andrews,
correct.
Patrick's, Grenada, which is why they go towards 10,000 people attending Soca Monarch.
So when Mr. Killer comes out to perform, and he's from Guave, as you rightfully said, yes, the numbers are huge. When Fireman, when Skinny, when Problem Child, when any of these artists come out, you know, if this song has a break a branch, when they're about to be introduced, all of a sudden you see 3,000 branches raised in the sky. And like, where did they? There's no trees here in the stadium. How did these branches get here?
Yeah. And so, St. Lucia, the Denry segment, the question is, it was really trending 3-4 years ago. How prevalent do you find the Denry segment? Where is it at, the Denry segment, as far as the carnival music on an international circuit as you go around the calendar, moving from country to country with the Caribbean style carnivals? Still
important, because Denry segment is the sound of St. Lucia. Bashment Soca is the sound of Barbados. Jab is the sound of Grenada. Iron is the sound of Antigua. Bouillon is the sound of Dominica. And we could go on. So every island has their unique sound. So you know once you hear that hard drum pattern coming in, you know that's St. Lucia, because that's our sound.
Yeah, and so as I said, the challenge and the obvious question, the music, some of the names mentioned, your Shemi J's, your Ezra's, your Nerdy who's sending St. Lucia crazy, the music, the challenge and the advice as to go through the logical steps for them to get that music through. Your recommendation for those who are just joining us?
Need to be seen. The same way that you are in St. Lucia and you go into all of these parties, all these events, or, you know, they have a little street jam somewhere and you jump jump on the mic and entertain the crowd, sell your song. The same thing you're doing here, because carnival music, soca music is very festive, which means that Iowa, you could be working in an office in Toronto, and you come back from St. Lucia Carnival and you're at your cubicle and you put on your song and everybody comes over and asks you, what song is this? And if you see a mass over there, all over there, and you're moving and they're like, what are you doing? Well, there's a dance to this song. You balance, you go left, you go right. And then hopefully you have a visual to pull up. So now that they can not just hear the song, they can experience the song through a visual. And that's very, very important. You need to be seen,
The artists need to be physically at the carnival, and
yes.
the circuit is very much on, I say, Toronto, Carnival, Caribana. Then you have the big Labor Day. Is Labor Day as important and influential as it used to be in the circuit?
It's still important. Yeah. It's still an important part of the calendar.
Miami had a little edge. I'm just sensing Miami a little.
Miami is urban based, meaning that we don't want to hear your album. We just want your hot song. Right. Whereas New York, you will, as a Lucian, you're going to be able to get work at the various Lucian fests. But we still need for you to perform at the quote-unquote big stages. So this is where your networking comes in. So Patrice Roberts was here, Ricardo Drew was here, a bunch of artists was here, Mr. Killer, Christopher Martin, we can go down the list. You now form a relationship to, let's say, the example, Patrice Roberts, right? So now, Patrice Roberts is performing on a major stage in New York. Because you have a great relationship with her, Patrice could say, I have a friend of mine, this young lady from St. Lucia, she sang this song, back it up on the people, man. She have a new one. All you make some noise for. And she brings her out. She sings her one song, sing her one piece of the new one, keep it moving. So now that's how you work your relationships with these artists. Even do collabs. Or have them on your rhythm.
The rhythm certainly worked. I mean, talk to Mr. Moto about that. He's mastered that. He's really capitalized.
Moto is the master of this. And big up to Moto, because I'm glad to see Moto putting more artists in the space on his rhythms. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, is he part of the fabric of the invention of Denry segment? You correct me if I'm wrong, Iowa?
Not invention, but the early days.
Yeah. Early days? Okay, good.
Yeah,
appreciate the correction.
Invention, but early days.
Right.
The early days, certainly. The foundation, he was very instrumental in having it break out, the recording and distribution, marketing of it. And early in the use of YouTube, he was way ahead of a number of persons in the effective use of YouTube as a medium for promoting the music.
That's what came with living in New York. You were already in the Mecca, so you saw what the urban people were doing, reapply it to our genre.
Yeah. Barry Hype, always so much to speak to you about.
I want to touch one last thing before I leave, which is very important. To the powers that be that are listening, I don't do politics. I like to leave it right there. I do progression. I do forward movement. Forward movement of our music also includes, please, getting some, not all, but getting some of our key players in the industry diplomatic status. Please don't do certain artists that are your party or this party or that party. I don't do that. I do forward movement. Artists who have been waving the flag for us outside need the tools to be able to travel easily, to go to the various stakeholders areas.
Some of the other islands have it.
Exactly.
Grenada,
I know for sure Grenada has it. I know for sure Barbados has it. Edwin Yearwood, Red Plastic Bag, and Alison Hines, I know for sure. I know Skinny Fabulous has one. Yeah. So we need to obviously select a handful, and we need a DJ or two on that list as well.
Yeah, because HP has been traveling a lot. Levi Chin
we definitely need a DJ or two on that list, please. So the powers that be, don't rush. But it's important that our home team here, I don't call artists local anymore, by the way. I stopped using that term, because then MCs would say local and then they would say international. We're international as well. The term I use is home team.
Right. Tell us the songs that have had staying power. Some of the biggest songs that keep being relevant all through the years, and are there any solution ones that
Ale, huge. Vent, huge. Huge. Pressure, obviously. Ricky T has a list of records. But the new, obviously, Split in the Middle, Freezy, Not Bad in English. But that's in this circuit. Then if you go to Martinique, Oompa's a god over there.
Yeah, it really is.
You know what I mean?
Guadeloupe.
And Guadeloupe, yes.
As you see, the ground, feeling the movement.
Exactly.
It's really huge in Guadeloupe. Some people wouldn't understand how big they are, along with some of the other Denry segment
Yes,
artists.
the Denry segment artists are huge in the French market. Way bigger than our quote-unquote English-speaking or English soca records.
And Frenchmen in Paris too. I said some of the appearances in Paris where the diaspora there is huge. They do get a massive respect. And
Black Boy too. Black Boy is also out there as well.
Black Boy, I find really international with his fusing of music, the style and approach is really big and really gifted lyricist and so on. Barry Hype, we could always continue. We're happy. We're going through. Today we stopping at 9. No big stage today, but tomorrow and Friday we're back to the big stage as we bring the curtains down in a big festive way on our Vaval Central coverage. Today is just Tabanka Day. How much Tabanka you? Well, I guess you're going Carnival to Carnival. Iwa boy, you survived the road yesterday? You survived the road?
Yeah,
survived. Where the road? The road at your home? You went to your home?
I saw Barry though.
You like his style as a hype man. Not easy at all.
And by the way, I am from St. Lucia. I know my accent is not very, very, very Lucian, but yes, I am from St. Lucia. In some instances, I had to pull up my driver's license to prove my Lucianship. It is what it is. Say, how long are you staying in our country? I said, oh wow.
You see, as Mr. Barry Hype, thanks. We'll be having lots of the other Carnival officials and players, artists, and so even a couple of the managers. That's another important part of becoming evident now. The management of artists is very important. But
if you ask me, that is one of the biggest weaknesses. It's not writing. Iowa can write. We have writers here. We could do with some more quality writers, but we have writers. Can we perform? Iowa, we know what we're doing on a stage. We're good at this. Can we mix and master like some of the best in the business? So it's not performance, it's not writing, or we could do it some more.
It's no longer production.
It's no longer production. It's no longer mixing and mastering. We can mix up to the standard. What is your team doing? If your team is not working to forward progress of you, who's your manager? Who's your booking agent? Kevin Little still tours the world extensively on what would be known as one tune. He has a catalog of music. Rupi also travels the world extensively. He has a wider catalog per se that people know. But their booking agents keep them on the road. 2020, boy, that pandemic didn't happen, I can tell you, because I'm Rupi's DJ. I was going to Australia. We were already working on a Japan tour, and there was 4 Africa dates that were being worked on.
Yeah, important, the different aspects and mixing the marriage of talents, as we say. That you're a performer, focus on performing and creating, and let the others
handle the
business aspect. We must go. Somebody asking the bank. We go to that kitchen tune again. The reality, the fact it's sad, it's hurting, but the carnival is over. My kitchen tomorrow, same time. Remember, we go into 9:30 tomorrow and on Friday on Vaval Central with a lot more aspects and dimensions, but the carnival is over at 45 seconds, Iwa?
Yes, I.
Barry said no long intros. Kitchen have a 50-second intro,
I remember,
that?
Like Dingole, like look at how long that intro is. It's not long compared to this one, but
it's long.
You know,
no longer long intro, so we queue it Iwa to 40 seconds.
Yes,
and we go in. In reality, folks, it's sad and a real Tabanka boy, but the carnival is over. Run it, Iwa.
The sun is descending, the moon is approaching, and the crowd is gone. It seems like nobody is interested to carry on. Well, this time is like a wooden shack after a storm. Not a band nor a mass is wrong to perform. All I can see is some broken old bottles so far. An indication the carnival is over.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Kitschy on the Caribbean sound. The carnival is over. Time check is now 4 minutes after 9. This time check is made possible by Ferrens Foods.
I'm feeling for something special.